Welcome to Snippet 3 Insurance Series. At the last episode, I briefly mentioned that the victim's claim against the insurer can only relate to the insurance indemnity as defined and limited by the contract. And Cem, you raised some interesting concerns here. Can you please elaborate under Swiss law?
Yes, sure. As I had mentioned in our last episode, the direct claim against liability insurance in general is pretty new under Swiss law. And the way it was implemented in Swiss law does basically make a distinction of whether the claim is made against a liability insurer for compulsory liability insurance or a non-mandatory liability insurance. So in the compulsory liability insurance matters, the insurer cannot raise all sorts of defenses that would be available by the contract, but the law provides a catalog of excluded defenses which the insurer cannot raise against the injured party when making a claim against him or her or the insurer. Anyways, in the other circumstances where we have general liability insurance and the injured party is making a claim against the liability insurer of the liable party, the insurers are basically entitled to raise all the defenses that are available under the contract. And this leads to a tricky situation because, as I have mentioned in our last episode, the law does not provide for a claim to disclose the policy. And against that background, it is, I would say, difficult to assess the prospects of a claim against the liability insurers because you do not necessarily have information, for example, with regards to the premiums. Did the liable party pay its premiums subsequently, and or did the insurer maybe avoid the policy and therefore does not have an obligation to cover anymore? And also, you do not have a comprehensive picture of the coverage exclusions that are made in the policy. And as long as you cannot assess the policy, you are running these risks that your claim will be dismissed because the insurer can raise valid defenses. And last but not least, even if you would consider that the liability insurer confirmed that he's the liability insurer of the injured party, you would still need to know what kind of trigger does the policy provide. Is it an occurrence policy or is it a claims made trigger policy? And as long as you do not have this kind of, let's say, basic information, it will be very hard to consider the prospects of your claim against the liability insurer. And, we will see. Time will tell how court practice will develop in the near future with regards to these issues.
Okay, thanks for this. See you at the next episode of our insurance series. Bye.
Thank you and see you.
Bye.